So my husband and I decided to open Jasmine's Screw and Cantina here in Gaston. We already have a business. It's Jasmine's Lopez Agency. So here Gaston was the best place to open a second business. Exchange Bank made this really, really easy. I thought it was going to be a really hard process, but they were so nice, so sweet, and they explained everything by detail. And as you can see, they helped me make all this possible. It was really easy, and they were always there. They were just a phone call away.
Etowah County tip line 256-543-2893. Etowah County Sheriff Jonathan Horton understands it takes everyone's involvement to keep Etowah County safe. If you see it, report it. 256-543-2893 or use the free app, the Etowah County tip line. Little Burton's 4755 Alabama 179 in Boaz, Aurora Community. This is your one-stop shop from freshly cut meats and steaks, breakfast sandwiches, to famous Hunt Brothers Pizza. Hey, you can fill up your tank and enjoy a freshly brewed cup of hot coffee. Let owner Jamie Grant and his staff give you the customer service that you expect and the old-time Southern hospitality you deserve. Little Burton's. Pierce & Pierce, attorneys at law. 256-455-0984. Let attorneys Kyle and Beth Pierce take the worry away. They specialize in criminal defense, appeals, probate, family, divorce, wills and trust, real estate, and property. They are only one call away. 256-455-0984. Attorneys Kyle and Beth Pierce. We are in
Trent Thrasher Construction. From idea to completion, we manage it all. At Trent Thrasher Construction, we create spaces big enough to hold your dreams. We believe in the nobility of hard work. That's what sets us apart. We take pride in everything that we do. There are lots of companies out there that can build your project, but at Trent Thrasher Construction, we don't just build, we create, innovate, collaborate, and take absolute pride in every single project we do. Trent Thrasher Construction. We're here for you.
Twin City Used Cars. 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. 256-844-2210. Open Monday through Saturday from 8 to 6. Owner Bobby Ledbetter encourages you to come take advantage of his over 30 years of experience in buying and selling amazing vehicles. Incredible inventory, honesty, fairness, reliability. Hey, that's just what you get at Twin City Used Cars. Integrity is a way of life for Bobby Ledbetter in Twin City Used Cars. Check them out on Facebook at Twin City Used Car Sales, the exclusive used car dealership of KAPOW Media, Twin City Used Cars.
Hey guys, welcome to KAPOW. Jeff Underwood, J. White. What's up, buddy?
You know, just here, very excited to finally get this guest on, and I'm talking about the distinguished, the incredible, you talk about man of high integrity, you're talking Chris Ray. How was that lead up?
Well, that was fabricated, but
He read it just like he wrote it.
Yeah.
I think his wife just said, ha, 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 ha.
Yeah.
She was like,
Yeah.
Chris Ray, Exchange Bank, like anybody needs to, don't know who you are, welcome, man. Thanks for coming on with us.
Thank you. Thank y'all for the invitation. So we've had a great partnership with y'all for a few months now.
Yeah, it's been
Really
going
good.
on, and it's hard to think. We were brought together by one Joe Taylor.
And there it is.
Joe brings a lot of people together. Like, you know, oil and water sometimes will mix with Joe Taylor. So
That's fair.
You ought to sit right here every bi-weekly and listen to these two before and after the show. See, that's where your real advertising money could be well spent if we do an after show with Joe.
Oh yeah. When the mics he thinks is muted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Chris, keep that in mind.
Good times. So just kind of introduce yourself and talk about your family a little bit.
Sure. So my name's Chris Ray. I work at Exchange Bank. I've been back at Exchange Bank for about 5 years now. took a little hiatus to the FDIC for about 10 years. But I'm one of 5 members of the Exchange Bank, or 5 members of the Ray family that's in Exchange Bank. So my dad is Alan. He is the youngest of 3 brothers. There's Ricky, who's CEO, Deanie, who's president, my dad, who's operations officer, and then Catherine, who's over marketing, and her son Harrison's actually in the underwriting and loan department as well. And
awesome.
he's 20. He just got engaged last week, so he's 23, I think, 24. And then there's myself. So
true family business.
Yeah. Like it or not, it's a true family business.
But I mean, you guys have been tremendous to us as an organization. We use you guys have for many years as a church where we're at now, and you guys have been so good, and it really is. Now, I mean, you got everything you could possibly want from a big time bank, but you go in there and you're treated like a human being, and you matter a little bit. And,
well, I appreciate those kind words. We have great people that work at Exchange and Rainbow City. We really think a lot of everybody at Rainbow City in our office, and I think the city of Rainbow City and everywhere, and we're good partners together. So
I pulled you away, but go back to introducing yourself. I apologize.
No,
I wanted
good.
to say that because I would forget.
He's going to take over. There's a bunch of us. You know, sometimes you don't know if we're at a board meeting or Christmas dinner. You know, but no, So, but no, it's we've been a bank since 1909. My grandfather acquired that bank with his partner, who was a U.S. Senator at the time, in the 70s. And then we've been here ever since. So we're just in Etowah County. So we have got 5 locations: Altoona, Nakalula, Rainbow City, Gadsden, and Tala. But no, we've got about 70 employees, 72 I think today, you know, and just very thankful for Etowah County, and thankful for, you know, what we've been opportunity to do. So yeah.
And I'm gonna get you out of trouble here.
Okay.
Talk about your wife a little bit.
Oh gosh, is she listening? I told
No, I'm
her.
not sure yet, but probably they all do.
She says, "Well, you're famous now," so I guess.
Well, infamous is what I hear.
Yeah, infamous. Yeah. So my wife, she's from Gadsden. Her maiden name's Ashley Hicks. She went to Westbrook here in town. She still works in Birmingham. We lived in Trussville for about 10 years. Moved back, built a house right outside of Rainbow City, and she goes into the office in downtown Birmingham every day. So. She's the daughter of Glenn and Frida Hicks, and they have a fabrication business in Atala, Coosa Valley.
Coosa Valley,
yeah. So yeah, that's her family side, and so as you can tell, there's a lot of small business within our family. So, but no, she works for Alabama Power right now. She's been there for 6 years, I guess. I'm on the spot on that, but. She's one of the corporate secretaries for them, for the board. So yeah.
She says be nice.
Oh, did she? Okay.
Yeah. So now you better sit up straight.
Yeah. So we've got 2 kids, an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old that are at Westbrook. And we talked about topics that might come up today, and you said, well, college football usually comes up. Well, I know more about 8U coach pitch baseball right now than I know about anything else. So
it's okay.
That's a good thing.
That's
a good thing.
I don't know. I don't know if it is or not, but yeah. Thankfully, we're out of the season right now. We just finished up. And
it's a long season.
It is a long season because he plays fall and spring, so it's always something. So.
Oh my gosh! I coached for I guess was it 14 years?
Too long.
And I'm so thankful that for that time.
Oh yeah.
But you're right. You do lose track of anything else extracurricular that's going on during those seasons. It is consuming, but it's pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah. I coach his basketball team. We do a lot through the Gadsden Rec on the basketball side, and then on the baseball side, I help coach. In the fall, we're usually in Coosa, and then in the spring, we're in Gadsden. And I help with that side, but it is intense. You know, it's one season to the next. And as a matter of fact, my son's got big spadden this morning and then basketball camp this afternoon. So it keeps us busy.
Is that Gadsden, the Gadsden Parks and Rec?
Mm-hmm.
So that's huge, right? Like
it's pretty big. So I got asked to come. A group of us asked to come over there in the spring because what happened was they're in a different organizational foundation than KAPOW is, and based off our son's age, they could play coach pitch 1 year longer. Through Gadsden. So that's why we initially moved over there. But it's been good ever since. So it's good to, like you said, it's a big group.
Huge.
So
It's massive.
Let's start that.
I don't know. Elkins was involved in everything.
Yeah, I'm sure.
At some point.
Yeah.
You know Scott Elkins?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Well, he's over there coaching, helping assistant with girls, right?
He's at Westbrook coaching.
Yeah, he sure is. Yeah, that's right.
And the girls stuff, him and Jeremy Brooks.
That's right.
We all grew up together.
Okay.
They're just incredible. Like we all went to Tala Elementary School together.
Okay.
We've been friends a long time.
Those boys know basketball.
They're as good as they can.
Coach Brooks, I met him, I guess, last year about this time when he was coming over to Westbrook, and seems like a great individual.
Dude, he's
Good folks.
high integrity.
Yeah.
Very, very smart. Just his whole family's just amazing.
Now let's talk about your choices in football coaches. Sorry, Steve.
Yeah. Let me get my cheat sheet. I know I was going to do this early.
Yeah,
So we love him.
You don't need that for Steve Smith.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, talking about Westbrook. You don't need it for him. You got.
He's great.
Talk about it. A dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been very open arms to our family.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, my wife had reached out to him to get some old equipment for our kids who like to just run to play tackle in the front yard, and he was
That's fun times.
you know, so we've got some classic shin guards and shoulder pads, and the kids just run into each other in the front
That
yard.
is awesome. I just hope it's not Noel Weiss or Brandy Haney stuff. If it's one of those, it's going to be malfunctioning.
Yeah, it doesn't tie them very well. So, but
That's so funny.
but Coach Smith, he's done great things and will do great things. And I think I don't obviously stay too involved in the Westbrook side of things, but they do seem to have a great coaching staff that they've brought together.
High level. No, they've done a great job, and we're excited. We did his coaches show last year. We'll be doing his coaches show again this year.
Okay.
That show blew up. He's a personality.
Man,
he's a character.
He would just as soon talk 1980s baseball with us as anything, right? So he loves the game.
Yeah.
And we've grown to be quite fond of him. He's a really good dude. So if he was sitting there, I wouldn't say this.
No,
I have to keep a certain standard, right?
I keep telling my son, who's like I said, he's 8. He thinks he's going to be a professional baseball player.
I'm going to believe in
me too.
Well, but I told him, I said, look, man, Westbrook's up in their ante, so don't just assume you'll be on the team when you get, you got to keep it
They're
going.
talented for sure.
So,
I thought that Steve Smith had a great shot if he wanted to get the High School Athletic Association president job.
Oh yeah,
and I'm thankful he didn't.
I am too.
Although for the whole association, it's sad. But Heath Harmon's a good choice. He coached at Etowah back in the day. Heath Harmon's a great dude from Oxford, so great choice. But I'm glad Steve stayed at Westbrook, to be honest.
Yeah. He like I said, I think his personality off the field is as big as anything.
He's high integrity. There's no doubt, and that goes to really a kudos to Westbrook, because it's always been that way. I mean, I 100 years ago I graduated from KUSA when you guys were Westminster. And it's always been that way. Yeah. I mean, it really has. Westbrook has been, they've been known to produce wonderful people. And I love how it's generational now. Yeah. I mean, you went to Westbrook, your wife went to Westbrook. And we hear that from people that go to Westbrook and have gone, all their kids are going to Westbrook, and it just stays in the family.
Well, my son was just finished second grade, and his teacher was my teacher.
Wow.
And it was funny, we went to a little party thing, I don't remember what it was, but I told my son Jack, I said, you're actually probably sitting in the exact same actual seat that I'm sitting in. And it is odd because a lot of the people that graduated around my time and my wife's time are now in administrative roles there and stuff. So
great facility, great complex. It's just a little landlocked right now.
Yeah.
I mean, there's building going on like crazy. The field's incredible.
But when you buy a home over there to add on, you paying some money over there.
That's high value. Come move to Rainbow City. This is great. Hey, so let's talk a little bit about Exchange Bank.
Sure.
You talk about it's a family atmosphere. My very first banking experience being from Atala was always Exchange Bank, man. They treat you so well over there. My sister-in-law works there, Loretta Warren, at the downtown branch. And one of our favorite people, Jig,
Yeah.
His wife is
yeah.
up there. So,
okay, penis husband, Jim.
Yeah. So we don't hear bad. I mean, it's a family, and that they will fight you over Exchange Bank. I promise you.
Yeah, well, we like I said, you named a couple of the people that I work with, and they are great people, and we're fortunate to have them, and that's one thing that I think my dad and uncles did, was make sure that we're all equals, and we're trying to the better good, and look, and I think we have a good culture. And when I worked at the FDIC, I'd go to a bunch of different banks, and there are some that aren't. You know, and there are some.
There's some here in Etowah County that aren't.
That's true. But there's some.
That's a different show.
But
he can't be here for that.
But no. So thank you for that compliment, and we just try to give back, and I hope that that's evident. But we try to, So
it's been that way. I mean, when I was a youngster coming up, this again 100 years ago. Naomi Williams, one of her and Gary are our favorite people. We love them.
Pastors of
Fairview Baptist. And Naomi was a loan officer there many, many years ago. And my mom and her very close friends for a long time. My mom and uncle used to run Sherman Gott Realty. That's her brother. Okay. And so they developed a great relationship over the years and became great friends. And I was panicking. I need to build credit.
Yeah.
I'm getting out on my own. I'm renting a little home. I need to purchase a vehicle or something. And Naomi, it was so good, Chris, because I sat down with her and my mom, and she just listened to me. And that's back in the day when that could happen, right?
Yeah.
Now you got to go through a little more process.
There's more paperwork,
right? But it was so good, and I felt like, hey, she wasn't doing me a favor. She made me feel like I was doing her a favor of doing business there, and that was just a cheap little truck.
Well, you were doing a favor for us. I mean, if it wasn't for our customers, we wouldn't be around. And,
but I mean, it was a lot of times it don't feel that way for first time purchasers of anything, and that's how your folks made me feel, man. And I'll never forget that. And I always tell my kids that they're getting to the point now that they're getting ready to start doing banking and on their own, and I'll never forget.
Yeah, and I think like you said, building credit, depending on your situation, can be a stumbling block and some headwind and not knowing where to go, and there's some people. It's funny. When we lived in Trussville, we were in a Sunday school group pretty big, and there was an engineer there that worked for Alabama Power, and thought a lot of them. And he used to tell me he didn't know my background. He just knew I worked at the FDIC, and he just said, "Man, something about banks just scare me. I can't walk into a bank because I feel like everybody's staring at me and stuff like that." And I'd never really been. I've never really thought of it that way, because I've been inside of a bank lobby since I was born, and so, I try to make people aware that, some people are intimidated by walking through the doors, and if they're, right now the branch traffic's not like it used to be, because everybody does stuff on their phones and whatever. And so if you've got 2 or 3 people in there working, doing stuff, and then somebody walks in, it could be intimidating to some.
Sure it is.
So,
but sure. When you had a reputation of Jerry, it's always intimidating, right? Watch this.
We just locked the door.
So you do know him.
So my very first bank account, I wasn't old enough to have a bank account, and they worked it out. Get my mom up there. Obviously it's in my mom's name. Right? But my name was. They put my name on it. Made me feel like I was somebody. I'm going to do something.
Well, we still do up in our Altoona branch is a school bank.
Absolutely.
And so, and I think that's great. I used to help with it a long time ago, and we go up to Weston Elementary, and I believe they still use the teller line that my dad made when he was my age, out of wood, and they put it on the lunch box, on the lunchroom table, pop it up, and there's 4 or 5, I guess there'd be 6th graders that are the tellers, and they're getting deposits for the little, and at the end of the year, whoever has the most deposits for their grade, we take them to the movies and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
And then at the end of the year they get their money back, because it's just put in a savings account. But
that's so good.
Well, man, you need to work at a bank to take that many people to a movie these days.
No kidding. No, we do. It's a matinee during the week.
Good steward of that money. Good steward of that money.
Daggum Agricola closed down. Can't do that.
Can't do the dollar movie. That was good back in the day. So one thing Exchange Bank is known for is, obviously, you're in the community, you're helping the community. Let's talk about how you guys partnered with Rainbow City for the Freedom Flight second annual drone show.
Yeah, so
pretty awesome.
So last year, Joe reached out to us and said, "Hey, we're doing this drone show." And at the time, I didn't know what it was, and he, if Joe calls, you answer, and generally know what it's about, and so he said, I think y'all need help with that. I said, I think we should be great. I mean, like I said, we do have a great partnership with the city of Rainbow City,
absolutely,
and all the municipalities. But anyway, so we got an opportunity to do that, and I think my whole family came to the drone show, and we were able to watch it, and I thought it was great. Yeah. I mean, I think the only negative comment I heard was it wasn't long enough. And I think Joe heard that too, and that's why it's longer this year.
Sure.
So yeah, we're thankful again to be a sponsor. We'll be there. My whole family will be there again. And
more food trucks this time, I hear.
Is there more food trucks? Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, that was probably the two things, because we had a tent set up, and a couple, Jonathan and Catherine and Jennifer, a couple of our Rainbow City people were there, and they. I think they were there from 5 until, and I don't think they were starving, and the food trucks were long to lines. But no, I'm looking forward to it. I hope the weather's as good as it was last year.
How awesome was it seeing your logo in the sky like that?
Oh yeah, well I got a couple pictures of it. It was almost like too long, because I sat there and I thought, okay, we need like more American flags. I don't even think, but because I think we might have been one of the first, after the schools, and I was like, then the Kia went up. I was like, okay, I feel better.
That's humility to me, right?
It is, and you got a good logo too.
It is cool,
great in the sky.
But I was like, I don't want this to be longer than like the eagle flying.
The freedom, the exchange flights.
Yeah, we don't. So
I'm okay with that.
But
I'm with it.
I'm okay with that.
But we are thankful to be a partner of it, and like I said, usually, if Joe gets an idea like he did last year, and I think that he told me kind of how they originally talked about it, he had been somewhere and seen the drone show, and if Joe has his mind set up on something, he's going to do it. He's going to do it right, and that's an example of that.
Some say idea, some say wild hair. It's debatable.
Does he have any hair?
Not that I'm aware of, but
hey, easy,
and
easy.
you caught us off guard. You guys are doing an event called the Naked Pig.
Yeah,
I was in on that until I saw triathlon. Then I didn't know.
Yeah.
False advertising, Chris.
Yeah. Catherine, my cousin, she's kind of over the marketing area, and
she's great.
And she's with Downtown Gadsden, and they've been doing that for a few years now. I know we've got the signs in all the branches coming up, and I noticed we've got one of those big flyers on the front lawn of Rainbow City too, and which is a great lawn for marketing and stuff like that.
Sure.
Because everybody sees it, but yeah, I don't know how many years they've done it now, but it seems to be pretty popular. And like you, I hear triathlon, and I don't even. That's about as far as I go.
Man, we eat some barbecue. That's what I thought. We eat some barbecue.
Well, I was thinking, yeah. So,
but it's back 40, right?
Yeah.
So
back 40.
So
You
we're
could
drinking.
You're back in.
I could be back in.
He's back in.
Because unlike you, I don't go to a Baptist church.
Yeah.
Wow.
No comment.
Kent back. Come get your boy here. Come get him. He's make fun of your church.
Got to, man. Got to. So, tough times making industry, right? As far as interest rates, things like that.
Yeah.
You guys are so competitive.
Well, we try to be, and really, it's a better time for savers right now than it's been forever, and it's not so good time if you're looking to borrow money for a car, boat, house, whatever. Just because you've got that mindset of what you think the rate ought to be, and it's just not that right now. That rate that you think it ought to be is what CD people are getting, right now, and so forth. And that's just a product of the industry. We try to stay competitive on both sides, which obviously can impact our margins. But like I said, we try to do the best we can for both sides of the business. So for our customers, because we want to be competitive. We want to be able to not have a customer like us, but say, gosh, if it wasn't for your rate, and so we
it's so funny because rates aren't what, like my mother, she's owned her house outright for as long as I can remember, and she was just in the bank with my sister the other day in Exchange Bank and just talking conversations, and she said, well, I think my rate was 1.1 on my house.
1.1?
Yeah, it was,
I don't know any of those.
Was it back in the 50s?
Yeah, I mean, it's a long time ago.
gosh.
It was a long time ago. I said, Mom, I don't know if that's right, but
Yeah.
it's never going to get
My
there.
God.
No, I don't know.
So
Yeah.
1.1.
I can't.
Girl, you're only 74.
Well, it's like when people, I mean, y'all
Jeez.
know this. I mean, you'll talk to people say, "Oh, my first house mortgage was 18%."
Sure.
You know, and I hope we never go to that
Sure,
again, because
sure.
that was not good for the for the environment, but the economy. I'm sorry, but yeah. So it's rates are high. Who knows what's going to happen? I don't want to be a
Sure, yeah.
But we try to be as competitive we can on both sides. And we see the difference between us and most other people is and I think we might even put something out on Facebook about this last week. But the difference between us is we take people's money from here and we reinvest it to somebody who needs to borrow money here.
Right.
Yeah,
And,
that's right.
and there's some exceptions to that, but not much at all.
Sure.
And so that so you can kind of tell what our margins are when you see us do a CD special at 5%, and and what prime is and so forth.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, but no, it's fine. Things have not. I think some people are starting to realize that they were sticker shock initially about 6 to 12 months ago, and at some point, if you're gonna have to get a new car,
You gotta get
a new car.
That's right.
If you need a new house, you're gonna have to get up whatever it may be your situation. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
So.
How do you compete with the online banking world right now? I mean, that is a crazy.
It is tough, and what's tougher is there's a lot of, if you've ever heard this term, fintech. Fintech is an online entity that does financial services, but they may or may not be a bank, and you got to look for that stuff, and I think there is some. Good marketing that they do where it looks like they're a bank, and sometimes they might be a bank that sponsors them in another part of the country. So they are attractive for a lot of consumer people that don't want to come into a bank, don't have a desire to when they're real young. But just like you mentioned, as you get older and you get more responsibilities, you're going to need to probably borrow some money at some point, or if you have a lot of money, you're going to need to start figuring out what best way to invest it.
That's right.
And at some point, a bot on your phone may not be what you feel comfortable talking to.
Sure.
Well,
it's like, is cryptocurrency really currency?
Yeah. Well, that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, that's a good show right there.
Yeah. But yeah. So it is a competitive level that we had not had prior to 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But I do think, like many things that come into an industry, they come and go, and you got to learn to adapt, and you've got to learn to partner with some of them. I mean, the benefit of fintech to me, from a bank standpoint, is it requires you to, mobile banking. Well, I don't really want to have to do that. It costs more money. Well, guess what? If you don't do it, you'll lose customers. So now you do it.
Yeah.
And so so when we sit there and if our branch account's down low, well, that's fine because we know the online banking aspect of it's really what people go to.
Sure.
And if they need to talk to somebody about a specific situation, they have a branch to come to. Because I do think that's one thing that if people have issues, you don't want to have to deal with a 188 number, or whatever number or chat to deal with,
Well, you know who you're talking to. You built those relationships when you come into the bank.
Yeah.
And especially, the last time I went to your downtown branch, there was a couple of dogs in there, and the tellers were giving treats. It's just a family. It's just really just a family organization. And that's what I like.
I love that fact. I mean, my first mortgage I got with Gaz Mortgage Company with my sister's best buddy.
Oh, it was
Harrington.
Greg
Harrington.
Yeah.
And Greg was fantastic, and was obviously they moved from the little plaza area there to your bank, and great experience from can to cane in there. And you got that is true. You surround yourself with good people, and when you want a home, you can go in and sit with somebody. If you want to invest, you can go in and sit with a real investment banker that will help you protect.
And everybody's situations are different.
Sure.
and especially on you talk about mortgages on the mortgage side. Sometimes there's a story behind the numbers. And you need to tell that story to somebody, and so in that. So, but you talk about Gaza Mortgage. We actually just hired somebody 2 weeks ago, Hannah Banks. I saw that. Yeah, she was with First Federal, and we brought I had an opportunity to bring her over, and she's really going to really promote the mortgage side.
That's great.
Because Greg was great.
He was wonderful. Yeah.
He was everybody knew Greg.
Sure did.
And he went to Huntsville, and so
everybody's going to Huntsville. I said he's booming. Good Lord.
Greg had to be around the action. That's him.
He does. He's busy.
Yeah.
He's got to go.
Did he play baseball? I mean, he was like really.
I think so.
I think he played against.
I think so. I did. Him and Daryl Moore played together. I think. Yeah. And,
you said drink or play?
Both. Yeah. Matter of fact, I think I saw Greg and Daryl huddled up on a motorcycle riding together. It was like Purple Rain. It was weird.
I thought it was a little more Dumb and Dumber.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was it.
It's so funny.
Great stuff.
What I love about your social media is you promote your people more than you do your products.
Yeah, well, I mean, at the end of the day, that's the difference. I mean, everybody, there's plenty of, like you just talked about online, there's plenty of people want to take your money and relend it, or want to, it's a commodity. Let's just call it what it is. But the difference is who you're dealing with face to face or whatever. And so that's why we promote people, because at the end of the day, that's the difference. Because like I say, when I was at the FDIC, I probably went to 80 banks, and that's. It's the same story no matter what door you went into. The difference is who you're dealing with. And there are limitations that they can and can't do, but at the end of the day, that's the difference.
But when you live you're blessed to live in a small town. I mean, 100,000 people in this county is still small, right?
It is.
And then you break down the little municipalities, it's even smaller. And I would be scared, the little amount of money that we give or invest or do, to go somewhere, trust my money that I've worked hard for, my wife has worked hard for, my family has, to pass that to someone that I can't look at that.
Well, and I'll be honest with you, it is something I think about every day. When I worked at the FDIC, obviously I saw the nightmares when somebody would fail, and that's what happened. 12 months ago in California with that bank.
That's right. And
that was so it's something you don't take lightly.
I'm glad you brought that up, because we had talked about that months and months and months ago. How hard is it to get your money back from?
Well, if you're under 250, if you're FDIC insured, which, like I said, talk about the fintech thing, I'm not sure. Those are little caveats. If you're under 250, and like I said, I worked on that side of things for a while. It's no big deal. You get your money within days, and up to $250,000. And there's also, I will say, there's ways around that too. Depending on how the account's labeled and done, you can get more than $250.
Is it easier to be able to walk into a branch like Exchange Bank versus online banking that's protected? Is it easier to walk in if you lose some money to go into?
Well, hopefully it'll never happen. But yeah. So what generally what happens with an FDIC takes over a bank is it happens usually on a Friday. Now, what happened with California is what was unique to me, because, like I said, I used to live that. It happened on a Thursday, and that was a red flag to me.
Sure.
And so, but anyway, generally happens on a Friday. The FDIC works like dogs all weekend, because on Monday it's gonna open up as one or two things. It's gonna one or three things. It's gonna open up as the new acquirer. That's the new name of it. It'll open up as a FDIC bridge bank, which just means we're just there long enough to pay everybody out. And number three would be a payout where they chose not to, and you're just there, and you come in with your check, and they look at the system, or you come in with your statement or whatever request. They look at the statement and say, you had X amount of money. Here's your check, and there you go. So, but so that's generally that is how it works. But yeah. So that to answer your question about if there was ever something that happened like that, you would come the next business day.
What about fraud?
Fraud is huge right now.
Yeah.
Check fraud in particular. That's something we talk about within the bank. Is it's 2024 and we're talking about check fraud. I know, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And there's many and it's not. It is an industry-wide situation all over the country. It is worse in certain parts of the country. Atlanta, really, from Atlanta to New Orleans is probably a hotter area for it. Yeah, but check fraud's pretty big, pretty bad. And this goes back to your question about online banks. Some of them, if they're not regulated, some of them don't follow the requirements they should. They'll open up an account and not do their due diligence, and it'll be a fraudulent account. And next thing you know, a check came through, and it was no good.
Wow.
So you have to be. you have to be on your toes on that.
Sure.
And we've actually, at our bank, have really put some resources into that. We actually monitor the dark web. Who would have thought we would do that? In a community bank, monitoring the dark web, and we have partnered with some people to do that for us, for our customers. And so that
never would have thought about that.
Yeah, but it blows my mind. I mean, there's some of the things I've seen where through some of the vendor due diligence, where they'll go on the dark web and they'll see a local item that has been put in the mailbox but never processed. So it was stolen. It was intercepted somewhere between that mailbox and being processed. And there's a picture just like you took of your phone of that item, and it's for sale for $25. And so, reality is, a lot of people, if they have check fraud, or have any fraud on their account, they're usually reluctant to close their account out, whatever. And I understand that, especially in business, because you've got so many things coming and going.
Yeah.
But if you were provided a copy of, like, hey, this is your check for selling the dark web, like, here, I think you'd be more willing to.
Well, you guys take security very, very seriously, and online breaches, like we were talking about, the CDK, the automobile industry was shut down. 15,000 dealerships couldn't do business because it was malware.
Ransomware.
Ransomware. It was ransomware. $80 million is what the hackers were trying to get.
There are municipalities within 45 minutes of here that have been ransomware and they're just ready to pay, because these people are so smart. I mean, these aren't what you expect them to be like, and they're very smart, and they know exactly what your threshold for pain is, and so they'll take over your system and say, look, for this amount we'll give you the key to unlock it, and they generally know what your threshold for pain is, because there's been hospitals in the state, there's been municipalities in the state, there's been some banks in the south of the state, and it just takes the weakest link to let you be vulnerable.
So we're talking about fraud. What about debit card? Like we had it happen with us. We were on, I think not us, but senior adults were on a trip.
Oh yeah,
and they had a couple vehicles that they had to pay for gas, and then a few weeks later, my mom Sandra saw that, wait a minute, we've got charges hitting us out in Texas and no one's out there.
Yeah, debit, and once again, it goes back to the dark web. And what happens is sometimes they're called BINs, but basically there's, these issuers, being MasterCard or Visa or whatever, they're compromised. Sure. And they don't even know it. And they'll have basically what they, they'll steal the information. Well, these are the possible debit card, credit card numbers that might be issued. And these people just go through and they fish till they get one, and stuff like that. So it is. You're always on the defense. It's somewhat odd because, like in banking, you generally try to assess your loan portfolio to see what risks and exposures you have coming up. And then next thing you know, there might nowadays now you got to worry about the check side, the deposit side of the house. And those are things that are most frustrating, because you can do whatever you want to do on the loan side to help mitigate your risk and be monitoring it, but kind of have some red flags come along the way that, may say, okay, we need to watch this a little bit closer. But on the deposit side, it just hits you, and if you don't return the item within a certain period of time. So we've actually created a fraud department in the last 3 months and actually reallocate some resources to that area. It's in Attala, where it is. It's we've got 3 people, and it's like mobile deposit. There's a lot of fraud in that, and we actually have somebody that looks at every deposit done on a mobile deposit. Looks at every item, and sometimes people think it's an inconvenience if we return something, and then ask them to re-endorse it again, something like that. But it's really, because we are the size we are, we actually have somebody looking at it. Where these big places, they have parameters, and if it meets those parameters, it moves through. And their parameters can be looser or stronger.
You got a lot of folks that think that the fraud stuff is an inconvenience. But we don't. I mean, at first it is, but it's not an inconvenience when it really does happen and you guys protect it. We make a lot of purchases we have 2 locations as far as church goes, and Jerry and I and Mom and all the other guys and gals here will make purchases because we're growing the other location. And so here lately we're like, hey, it's a quick text, right?
Yeah.
Did you authorize this purchase?
Yeah.
And she can go, hey, yes, we authorized it. For instance, we went to a food bank. We purchased a lot of food, or get a lot of food from Peachtree City, Georgia. So we all went over there. It was a big day, and so we stopped. Said, the church is going to purchase lunch for you.
Yeah.
Stopped in a Georgia restaurant. And it was a larger purchase, right? Bank quickly, hey, did you make this purchase? Yeah. It seems like an inconvenience, but I promise you it's not.
Well, and it is frustrating because, like you said, where's the balance at? Where's the because we want people to know that we're monitoring it and to reduce the risk to you and to us, but also we don't want to be inconveniencing you. So, there are so many, like, parameters that we could put on that side of things and trying to find that balance. So Georgia, you said that's a surrounding state of Alabama. Mm-hmm. So we allow those transactions to go through if it's a surrounding state. And if you're going out of town or out of country, just call us.
That's what we do.
And we'll just make sure it's legit. So or just call beforehand and we'll put it on the system it'll not block you.
And it's a quick text, though. It's not that inconvenient.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're looking out for me is the way we took it.
Well, I'm glad you do. Not everybody does.
Well, it is at times you're in a rush or you got something going on, but after you settle down, you go, it's all good because if something was really, really happening, thank God for it.
Yeah, right? So. And usually if it's something really bad, and y'all know about the customer always calls me or Catherine or my dad, or we know most everybody that we had an opportunity to work with, and so on a personal level, so they'll call us, and stuff. But
that's awesome.
But yeah, so
some great things coming up in the summer. We don't have to get into right now, but be paying attention because the commercial's coming. It's about to be out.
Yeah, so we're doing a credit card promotion and some of the incentive. Credit cards right now. When we talk about the economy, people are relying on those more than they had been in the last couple of years. And so we're pushing our credit cards. We do have some new commercials coming out. There've been some editing being done, and it should be coming out July 1st. But yeah, we're promoting our credit cards. We have two, and like I said, if I pull the sheet back a little bit, there's not many banks that manage their own credit card program.
Sure.
A lot of banks may use a third party to do that. We don't. And to your point earlier, if you got a problem, we have a credit card department. It's 2 people, and if we had somebody come in Friday, wanted some explanation on their bill, and just sat down with the credit card lady, and we just went through it all. Yeah. So that's somewhat unique to us. As a matter of fact, you talk about cards. I've got mine right here, and it's kind of worn out, but it's a Westbrook card. So it's got the little logo and stuff. But yeah, we actually manage and monitor and own our own credit card. So that's a little atypical, in our world. So we got to have the volume to support that. Yeah. So we promote it. We set the rates, good rates. Matter of fact, I think they're the best rates in town. And over bigger people too. So so that's coming back up. We'll reintroduce that in July.
Heck yeah.
And I'm trying to think we got a blood drive coming up.
Oh.
So let me get my cheat sheet out.
There we go. You thought it was going to be about football.
Yeah, so we talked about this before we started airing. I didn't know what our topics would be, so the thought that it might be college football might come up, and I'm a little uneducated on the current events that are going on. So I had a guy who works at the bank who's younger and more into it, give me some cliff notes of recruiting and
maybe we should have him on.
Yeah, he would love to come on because he was saying, he goes, well, you need to talk about Caleb Cunningham. I was like,
sure. Wide receiver.
Mississippi State commit about to flip the bat.
Yeah.
That's my cliff note on that.
That's a good slip note.
Yeah, and then we could go through these if we had to, but anyway. But no, we got a blood drive coming up, and it's 6/28, so June next Friday.
Oh,
so downtown.
That's this Friday?
It is.
Yeah, this Friday.
Yeah. We're in a golf tournament. You ought to remember that.
I didn't remember.
Go to the blood drive. I said we're in a golf tournament. He don't remember anything. Do you have an app to have
United
Way?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Okay,
I'll be there. Yeah.
Who are you playing with?
Please say Jason Wilson.
Please say Jason Wilson.
And Andrew Ford.
Andrew. I saw Andrew at the golf course the other day, and he said, "You get back into playing?" And I said, No, I'm not. I don't want to get my expectations too high. Because he said, we just played. And I was like, I'm not ready to play with just anybody yet because I need to get.
He hits the ball so
Yeah.
He also talks really loud in your back.
They're cheating!
Thanks.
Watch them, they're cheating!
Yeah. Andrew and I, he was a year behind me at Westbrook.
God, he's a good dude.
What a time y'all had, I bet.
Yeah, he played baseball.
Awesome.
I didn't play baseball, but my wife played golf, and then I played basketball and tennis. So, but you're at a school, local high school.
So who's on your team? Who's going to be your foursome?
I really have no idea. I know the Banks put in a team, and I said I said I'd play with it. Of course, I didn't realize it's the end of the quarter, so that might throw kinky. And I might have to get somebody to replace me. But
don't do it. Come on.
Yes,
just come on.
hang out.
Yeah. So
it's a great time.
Yeah, we're playing.
Is it
Salvation Army team? Is who we on?
Yeah,
Salvation Army.
Yeah.
Is it a morning or afternoon team?
Morning.
Okay, then I can do it because
it's a 7:30. Got to be there register, and 8:30.
Silver Lake.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can do that because I just got to be back by the end of the day on Friday. So.
Yeah, last year was an experience, but it was super fun. And,
United Way does a good tournament. There's
do.
a few in town that I just think really do a good job.
Yeah.
Who was at the country club last month?
Yes.
Berry Center.
Yes,
Berry Center. They do a good one.
Great.
And careful because that Berry Center tournament, we did have balls on Rainbow Drive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
Was it back 40 ball? It could have been.
Careful.
But no, those are two in particular I always look forward to.
Yeah, good stuff.
So.
Great stuff going on.
It's good. We need to do an Exchange Bank KAPOW golf tournament and Rainbow City tournament.
Yeah.
All three of us get together and put one together because between us four or us three and Joe, we could put on the best golf tournament that this
The
year.
bank did a golf tournament when they on our 100th year anniversary, which would have been 2009. And it was just a bank tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if Catherine ever wants to do one again.
She's done. She's done. She's done with that.
I think it all depends on who enters that tournament, right?
Yeah.
So when Andrew Ford enters and Jason, you just go, we got to cancel.
Yeah, we hit our max.
Done. They would be great for an after hours.
Oh my
golf tournament, night golf tournament.
Yeah,
I've never played in a night tournament. My wife had. She said it's really neat. When you play and you use a glow and dark ball, and glow and dark tee shots.
So she played golf for Westbrook.
She played it, and then she played at Sanford.
Okay.
And so when we got married, we were in a trustful at the time. I don't think she'd ever played for a round of golf up to that point, and she's like, "Wow, this is expensive." I was like,
My niece played for Westbrook, Grace Guyton.
Okay.
She played, and then we have a good friend that's a golf coach there right now. Edge is coaching.
Okay.
And his son is phenomenal.
Eli, yes.
Yeah,
Westbrook puts out some golf.
So my 8-year-old is he's at 8. He's in 2nd grade, so he look up at all these high school players, and just think they're just amazing, and they are. But this morning, or I guess it was yesterday morning, he goes, "Hey, Dad, Eli Edge is going to Auburn to play baseball." And I said, I think you got that all wrong, Jackson. I said, I think he's going to Sneak State to play golf. He goes, I'm going to be like Eli one day. I said, okay.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Hey, as far as a role model,
he's a good one.
That's a great kid, man. Yeah. Despite his dad.
Sorry, Coach. My bad.
Man, hey, thank you so much for taking time to be with us.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for believing in what we do and being a sponsor of what we do in the Mayor Joe Taylor Show, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Well, I thank you for the opportunity for letting us do it. So.
We'll have to come on soon, and when we start talking a little football, we'll get you back into it.
I'll get Jonathan to update the notes because I'm sure it'll be
It
different.
changes daily.
I think we're going to bring you in one day with Joe, with Mayor Taylor.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
We were at a function together. I guess about 3 weeks ago. We were sitting at the same table, and that 3 hours went by like that.
It did.
I enjoyed it. I think he did too. But it was a good time.
Man, and lastly, before we get out of here, Jeff, we have to send our condolences to the Butler family. I'm going to let you.
Absolutely. Mac, family, boys, girl, we love you guys, and we miss Harry already. And what a wonderful legend. What was his nickname? Shug. What a wonderful legend Shug Butler was. What a wonderful man. And we're praying for you guys and love y'all very, very much. And the whole community mourns. The JBY old family, GAD family, H&L, I believe, Gaz and Times and a host of churches, and especially that theater of Gadsden Group. We love you guys, and stay close, stay clean. Thank you, Chris Ray, Exchange Bank, for being